Today's buzzword, AI, is literally everywhere. There's an understandable pushback to that, right? There's a conversation that AI is going to put people out of jobs. There's the conversation that AI is going to ruin the planet because of the environmental cost. More focused on what we do around here, there's a conversation that AI is just going to replace the creative, be it the videographer, the photographer, the writer, the scripter, whatever it is. And I have a lot of thoughts around it. I understand most of the pushback. However, I don't believe that it is all doom and gloom. At the end of the day, my perspective is AI is a tool, fairly intelligent tool, right? Depending on your definition of intelligence, but nonetheless, it's a very advanced tool, and it's a tool that when used by people who already understand their tasks, it just, I wouldn't say enhances it, but it makes it so much easier. It takes a lot of the mundane things away from those tasks and give you back the time to go deeper, farther, longer, acquire more. In my business as a professional photographer, AI is very prevalent. I use it a lot. And I want to take you guys on that path today. And therefore, I guess there are four real pillars of how I use AI. The first is in my editing. The second is really content creation. The third is on my website and how I appear to the world. And then the fourth is just communication, right? Like, we'll get into it. So here I have a sample of some of the work that I typically do in my business. I want to take you through the different scenarios and how the AI is helping me not only retouch and achieve the look I want, which by the way is not an overly retouched look. I like to have a polished look to my images, but not too much to where it looks like a goddamn Barbie ad. Here is this lovely couple. This was a courthouse wedding. They both look beautiful. They came prepared. They did their makeup. Everyone's well groomed. There really isn't a ton of work that needs to be done on the retouch side, but I'll walk you through it. So firstly, I want to sort of give you guys an example of what Retouch for me can do and show you what each plugin does. The first I'll usually do is come in here with the Heal. Heal is kind of simple, right? And what I like about Heal is it's intelligent enough to go out and look for the blemishes that I would remove. And what's interesting here is when I'm doing healing for any images, I don't necessarily remove everything, because I find when you remove every nook and cranny on the face, it doesn't look real. It doesn't look authentic, right? And I've had clients complain about like, wow, this doesn't look like me. So over the years, I've learned to dial it back, and I'm in a very good place where I'm happy with my work. It looks polished. It kind of looks retouched, but it doesn't. That's a sweet spot for me. So here with the sensitivity, I trust this tool. Again, I've been using it for years. So I usually leave the sensitivity on 100, and you can see what it's affecting and what it's removing. Let's hit apply, get that in there. The next one is the dodge and burn. Dodge and burn is one that's very subtle. And I like the way Retouch for me handles dodge and burning. It does it much better than I did when I did it manually, because when I did it manually, I had a tendency to go way too heavy-handed on the dodge and burn. But if you see me toggling it now, like pay attention to the eyes here. You can see it's making these little adjustments. Pay attention to the nose bridge here. You can see, I love it. And again, I trust this tool that it's doing it in a very tasteful way over the years. Now let's go on to the portrait volumes. This is where images really come to life, right? So let's get nice and tight up in here. Pay attention to how it gives this 3D depth to the image. It gives this realism to the image, and it does it in such a tasteful way. Like portrait volumes is like my favorite. I'm always shocked at how it does a great job of shaping the face and really giving a soft a soft accentuation to the face. And then the last one I'll run is the skin tones. And Skin Tones does an amazing job at evening out the colors of the skin. This is also one of my favorites. Like with portrait volumes and skin tones, I love the work that these two do. For me, where the magic comes along and how it all saves a lot of time is when I link these plugins together in actions. So you'll see here, if I expand the action, what I do is I create a layer for everyone, just in case I want to go back and pull something down a little bit, or maybe I didn't like what it did. There's a little bit of manual control. So what I'll do is just essentially hit the play button on this action, sit back and watch it do its thing. All right, did you catch that? If you look down here, here's each plugin, right? And I can, let's come in close. If I toggle, you guys rocking with me? This is it. I don't care to come in and remove this, right? Remove that. Like, no, this is, I don't want to do that. I'm still in the business of capturing authentic images, and this is just the amount of polish required. And then I'd send that right back to Lightroom and I'm done. So let's look at this in a different way. Again, this is not a tutorial on what to do, how to do. All I'm trying to show you is how AI and Retouch for me gets me to where I need to be. No, it's a little too cold. Okay, let's not obsess. Let's bring this in. And this was a birthday party for a kid. Kids are dope because kids don't require us as much retouching, but I wanna just hit this play button and I wanna show you guys my secret sauce, right? And if you're timing it, it's all done within less than 30 seconds, I would say, not even. And this is a big deal for me because retouching images as an event photographer, it takes a lot of time. And I do this process on all my images, right? Very subtle changes. And if you're noticing, it may not have done much to her face because she's a kid, she's got great skin, but look at the unevenness on the arm, right? Look how it fixes that just ever so slightly. I love it. And then if you, I know, again, move into the conversation of Photoshop, there's a lot of things we can do here. Like let's circle this doorway, right? And let's tell it remove doorway. This is something that I do sometimes with Adobe and their AI generation. I use this to manipulate the background sometimes if I can find like, okay, this would have been a hero shot, but there's a pretty big distraction. I would have to massage this a little bit more, right? Like this is a much better thing. And then I can come in here, let me commit to that change, layer stamp. And then I can come in here with the remove tool and I can sort of clean up this errand balloon. I can remove this air freshener or whatever this is from here. But like you're starting to get the idea how I don't need to really obsess over my images. I don't need to become a Photoshop ninja to really start to understand what I'm doing and what I want. Hang on, let's get in here. Here's another image. This was a Sweet 16. One of the things I love about Retouch for me as well, it will apply to literally all the faces that it detects in the photo. And again, think of it through the lens of my business. I am an event photographer. And yes, my main subject is this young lady on her 16th birthday, but look at her brothers that are playing her bodyguard. Look at her sisters. Like everybody in this image deserves to have a nice bit of niceness to their skin, right? Like you see me toggling it on and off. Like, do you know how much work this would have taken me to do this manually to retouch each person? Like, it's nuts. It's literally insane. Like, it's such a huge like time saver. And more so, again, here's something that I do for all my clients, right? Group shots are kind of difficult in many ways. So what I do is at the end of the event, I will always do a group shot with whoever's left there. And it's just a great memory to look back on and say, oh man, all these people were here, all this love, all this family. Look at it again. I'm hitting retouch for me. I'm essentially retouching, I don't know, what would you call this, 20, 30 people? There's no way I was doing this without a plugin like this. There's no way I was doing this without the help of AI, right? And again, this is what gives my work the level of cohesiveness across everything that I do. Super dope, super dope. The second pillar for me, where AI is super important, it's proven to be an amazing tool, is content creation, right? So what we're looking at here is this tool called Opus Clip. So essentially what I do is after I create my YouTube videos, I copy it in here, and it chops them up into these little pieces that's made for like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. So it's essentially repurposing the content that I've already made. And some of you guys may have seen this on my Instagram as Reels, right? Now, what it does here off to the left, it's looking for, I guess they call it like a viral score, a virality score. I don't even know whatever. I'm not a marketing professional, right? Which is why I'm relying on AI to bridge that gap. And there's some criteria here, the hook. And the hook is all about how you start the video and how you end the video. How much potential does this clip have for people to watch it 2 and 3 times or continue to watch it, right? Then there's the flow, there's the value, there's the is it on trend. There's all these things that it uses to just automatically create a few different versions or a few different clips from that one video. I think this is amazing. And then also what I'll do is I'll take the transcript from this and I'll run it through ChatGPT. ChatGPT is another amazing resource. And I'll ask it to sort of revise the description to make it easy to read, to make it enticing to read, to make sure that the algorithm can read what this is as well. Make sure that it complements the written form, complements what I'm saying in the video. Like all these things before as a content creator, or because I try not to be a content creator, right? But I'm a creative and I want to create things, but I want you guys to see it. And therein lies the challenge as a creative person, as a photographer, and a business person, really, because this same struggle. Learning about these tools and how to traverse the world of social media and learn how the algorithm works, learn how people's attention works. Like, it's an entirely separate job on its own. And I can't be a creative and commit to that. It takes away from me creating. I can't run a photography business and learn about that shit too, because I'm not learning about my craft, my business, but I also can't ignore it because these are where my clients are. So tools like Opus Clip, using AI to sort of create the things around my world, like it's an amazing value add. Then there's another tool called Unifire. What this does is I copy my YouTube video in and it does a few things for me, right? It'll give me the transcript so I can feed ChatGPT that, and it has context of what I'm asking it, what I'm looking to do. It gives me blog outlines. Now, you guys may not be familiar. I got to show you because I'm quite, that was my professional. I'm quite happy about this. I made the decision recently that my website should be my home base. And what's interesting about this is when I create a YouTube video, I also want to create a blog about it, right? So if you click in, here's the blog. That's all pertaining to the last video I published, which was Let's Take Security Serious, right? This is where, if I go back to Unify, when I copy the video in, it's giving me the outlines of that video to create that blog post. And I then put that post in ChatGPT and create the blog. Yes, I have to do some changing around because it's AI, right? It's a tool, it's not a person. So it gives me, I would say the blog post is about 80% done. I just need to reread it. I just need to move some things around, change some words, but it's pretty much done. It also gives me some title ideas. Let's see, I think I used this one. right? So oftentimes for me, there's this creative workflow where you come up with the title of your video, and then you come up with the thumbnail for the video, and then you shoot the video. That doesn't work for me because I prefer to just shoot the video, no title. I just go off of my bullet points. And this is where this tool shows its value. It gives me a few ideas for the title. It gives me the tags to use for YouTube. And this is all back-end stuff. It gives me the description to use for YouTube. It gives me the time codes. Like, if you've ever wanted to become a content creator or YouTuber, like you know how like overwhelming all of this is, dressing up your content. Like it's a huge value add. I can't say enough about it. And then there is, let's go back to the tapes. I'll pull up my professional website. I use AI in a lot of the verbiage I use on my website because I often, listen, you can consider me rough around the edges. I'm not the most friendly person in my communication, right? So I know my heart, I know my intentions, but my mouth can be a whole different universe sometimes, right? My tone, my facial expressions. So here, I took really the structure of what I want to portray to my clients, and I used ChatGPT to clean it up, right? Like, and again, this is why I think AI is so misunderstood, because a lot of people feel like, oh, you're using AI to do your job. Like, no, I already know what my job is. I already know what I want to say, but I'm using AI and ChatGPT to really revise what I'm saying in a way that I know I can't officially or efficiently, I should say, communicate to those I would like to communicate it to. And it does a great job at that type of stuff, right? Like my website, my website could not have looked like this, really, honestly and truly, without AI. And when I say look like this, there's a few pieces to your website as a package, right? It's the presentation of your work. That's number one. And my work is my work, right? It speaks for itself. But if you ever heard the phrase love is not enough, that's where I'm going. The work is not enough. You got to package it as well. So here's all my intentions. Here's capturing the genuine connection and emotions between couples requires an experienced, intuitive approach. What the fuck is that? That's something we all know. My version, whatever the fuck I had in there, didn't read like that before, right? So you're sort of getting where I'm at. And then I also use it for a lot of the SEO stuff, right? Like drizzled in this page is like New Jersey. And I want to be, I would like to rank for the key phrase engagement photographer in New Jersey. It's littered throughout this, and it's done in a way that's not like, aha, I see you're using hashtags and keywords. It's done in a let's call it a seamless way. That's all AI. And then the last pillar of which AI is so beneficial to me is my communication to people, right? My communication to clients. And I'm not saying to you, I'm not an intelligent person and I can't sit down and write an email, but I always run my emails through ChatGPT before I send it, and I give it the context, right? This client is asking for this, and I am a professional photographer responding to the client, blah, 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 blah. Can you revise this email? Mostly what I'll find is it makes some tweaks to verbiage to make it softer, more friendly, but mostly it'll be things like structuring the email in a way that's easy to read and organizing things and making bullet points. And because when I write, it's just some boring ass 4 or 5 paragraphs that can be overwhelming to look at. When ChatGPT revises it, it's a blast to look at. It makes some things, it highlights some things, it underlines some things, it creates bullet points for some things. Like, holy shit. I guess what I'm trying to dive home here is AI is not this scary thing we should be running from. It's something we should be learning about. We should be trying to understand it. We should be taking the time to see how we can implement it in our tasks, be that your professional business, your creative endeavors, your work, whatever it is. Like, give AI a shot. And again, this video was sponsored by Retouch for Me, a tool that I wholeheartedly endorse and I use in my photography almost on a daily basis when it comes to my business. It's a phenomenal tool, and links in the description down below. And if you guys have any questions about it, feel free to hit the comments. Feel free to reach out on my social media. You guys know where to find me. My name is Ramon. Thank you so much for your time. I do not take that lightly. The most valuable resource we have in this world is time. And that's why we all connect on this craft of photography, because capturing the ability to capture time in moments in time is literally a gift. Thank you so much. I'm out of here. Peace.